Well, good morning, gentlemen. I'm again excited and continue to be committed to walking with you through your journey to freedom. And today I want to actually focus on that and look at your journey to freedom through an experience I had some years ago. Um, what I learned about life from climbing Mount Baker. Uh, Most of you have driven through the valley and you have a chance to see Mount Baker. Um, and I have the privilege of being on a slope where I look from most every window of my house and I can see Mount Baker. And I used to muse after we moved in here, boy, one day I'd love to be up at Mount Baker looking back at my house to say, I've been up there, one of those things, a bucket list thing. And my kids, who are all pretty aggressive athletes, decided for my 60th birthday that they would pay a guide, and three of my four kids and myself went up with a guide to try to summit Mount Baker. And I'll tell you what I learned about life and about journeying in life through my experience of climbing Mount Baker. Our guide was also a good friend of both my oldest son and my oldest daughter. He's a mountaineer and a trained guide on these kind of things. And though he's climbed Mount Baker many times, this trek was going to be an extra memorable and challenging one because of the conditions. The wind was gusting up to 80 kilometers an hour. Literally, you would go to step and sometimes the wind would blow you sideways. There was heavy snow falling, driven mercilessly by the storm that came up through the night. And because of the wind and the snow, the conditions were whiteout, and we lost all visible markers. As you go to hike, you go to that vista, then you go over to that vista, and you see black spots where the rock comes through the snow and it becomes a marker. And of course they have compasses and they know the route with the compass. And this whole challenge to climb in these conditions, we started to use the word epic, just throwing around, well, this is epic. Well, that's epic. And it was kind of fun. It became a larger than life benchmark moment for me. And just some of you maybe won't be fully aware of the details. But summiting Mount Baker is quite something. You park your car at 3,600 feet. You hike up to 6,000 feet where you make the base camp right at the snow line, frankly. And then you summit at 10,700 feet and change. And simply put, from the valley floor to the mountain, it's 10 kilometers up and 10 kilometers back down over snow, ice, and rock. It's obviously, well, for me, it's the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. I've run marathons, I've run Tough Mothers, I've bungee jumped, all in the last 10 years. And merely child's play compared to, summiting Mount Baker. And that day there was about 40 climbers that tented at 6,000 feet, all planning to get up around 4 a.m. to do the summit. And with the crazy storm that hit between 2 and 5 in the morning, when we got up at 4 and the guide said, no, go back to sleep. We can't hike in this. Hopefully it'll slow down. Got up at 5 and kind of kept going. But because of the conditions, though a whole bunch set up to climb, the last 6,000 feet or so, we're the only group that made it to the top. And everybody else turned back because of the conditions and all, and went back to their tents, packed up and went down early. But, for me, it wasn't an option, if at all possible. Because age is a funny way of driving that condition. When you're 60, that with every year that comes, you're less likely to get to the top. And so here I was, I want to go through it. But through this experience, I learned some things about life and about myself that so applied to the recovery journey. I want to share those with you because I believe that they will lift and bring perspective. And it's such an amazing parallel image, the climbing of Mount Baker and your journey to freedom. So First of all, stay roped together. You see, climbers are attached to one another for safety. If one person loses footing, remember this is ice, many times you're in crampons clamped onto your hiking boots with big, inch or so cleats on the bottom that digs into the ice and snow. And if you lose your footing and start to slide, others dig in because you're about 30 feet apart from one another. And if one slips and falls, everybody just digs in. And in this case here, 4 brace the one that falls. And so sometimes the rope seems in the way and unnecessary, but actually it's life-saving if one of you slips and starts sliding towards a cliff. And that the nice thing about being only 10 meters apart is you can actually stay in reasonable communication with one another, encouraging, warning of perils. And when we would have to jump over a crevice, and obviously some crevices were so big, just so you know, crevices are can be the size of, you could dump 10 buses in them and you'd still not fill them. They're massive. So you can't get over those. So you try to traverse around them. But some cases, the crevice might only be 3 feet. And so you're actually going to jump over it. Now, you can't see the bottom of some of these, but it's short. But when a person goes to jump, everybody else braces. Just in case they fall, everybody else brace. Jumping, all good. And then move up. Next person, jumping, all good. Let's go. Jumping, you got it, right? But because you see, we rope together. No one gets lost. No one gets left behind. You're warned of dangers coming. You all go at the same pace, and often at the weakest link pace, which is me in this case. But the implications are clear, gentlemen. It's best to journey through life connected to trusted people, family, friends who can be relied on, wingmen, accountability partners, this band of brothers. Genuine and caring attachment is a really good thing. Look for it. Don't try to go it alone. Remember, the opposite of addiction is connection. Stay roped to regroup. Stay roped. Number 2, be prepared. The Boy Scouts motto, famous motto of be prepared, sure made sense to me when I did climb Mount Baker. I was shocked at the detailed, extensive list of items we needed for the climb. That alone intimidated me. Harnesses, crampons, ice picks, rope, helmets, 100% UV sunglasses for the ascent, and even more gear for the camping in the snow. Beyond that, being in shape didn't hurt, but I knew I wasn't in my best shape. Then, after we got to base camp set up, the guide actually gave us a few hours of snow and climbing tips and self-arrest training. Self-arrest means if you're sliding, how do I stop? I'm carrying a pick. I got crampons on. If I slip and start falling backwards, he actually made his practice on quite a steep slope where it was safe. Going backwards, turning around, sticking in the axe to stop yourself. It's called self-arrest. It was part of the preparation. We had to learn a rope maneuver of pulling yourself out of a crevice where there's 2 loops and that you adjust and you put 1 foot in, then you pull yourself up. And it's just amazing how it works. I actually pulled myself up my side of my house and my balcony. I couldn't believe, it's hard work, but you can actually, if you're stuck in a crevice, there's a way to actually, so long as your rope's attached up there, you can actually pull yourself out. But we had to learn all that. Gentlemen, there's so much wisdom in being completely equipped and fully trained to be prepared. It makes the journey doable. You're prepared for every hurdle. And the same is so true of your journey to freedom. Prepare well in life with solid training, with trusted resources to make the most of every step and every opportunity in this journey. Gentlemen, be prepared in your journey. Thirdly, to face danger bravely. You're going to have hard times in your journey to recovery. And matter of fact, there are more hazards to our climb than I care to acknowledge, and I don't even maybe tell my wife some of them. But they're calculated risks, but still life-threatening ones. Slopes, drop-offs, cliffs, crevices, ice, snow blindness, cold, wind, whiteouts. You have to be constantly aware. Just like you and I in our journey to recovery, we have to be constantly aware of the dangers. You assess each threat, each crevice. Well, that one's too wide, we'll have to go around it. Other one's only 3 feet across, so keep the ropes tight as we jump. The slope is so steep, be sure to kick in with every step so your crampons have good grip before you put your weight on that foot. Stay back from this cliff. The snow edge might give way. And as in life, you watch out for dangers, but you keep moving. Gentlemen, on your journey, you watch out for dangers, but you keep moving towards freedom. You must tackle the fears, tackle the hard spots, note your dangers and stay away from them, go around them. There will be unknowns and surprises, but being prepared helps, but you got to bravely move ahead. You don't know what's coming ahead. You know where the next temptation is going to be, but it's all about handling the hazards that come wisely. So face the dangers in life head on in your journey. Fourthly, and I'm particularly not good at this, to be honest, but be in the moment. Though it's important to get perspective to know where you're going, don't be thinking about and looking too far ahead, to actually miss some of the vistas that you'll see along the way. In the climb that day, there were 3 or 4 times when through the wind and just the shifting elements, the clouds blew over and the sun broke through. And those were amazing moments. We're able to see ridges, vistas, ranges. Man, you never get to see from the inhabited world in the valley below. Such a different sight line. These were highlights. The sun and the blue sky were a welcome hiatus from the scourging and driving wind, the snow and the clouds. We'd stop, we'd look around in amazement. We took it all in. We'd breathe. I don't do enough of this. I don't slow down much. And sometimes we miss the beauty of just what's around us. Think about it. Here I was climbing Mount Baker with my kids. What a moment. Epic. Yeah, I had to be aware of it and not be oblivious to it. So when the sun came out, the clouds cleared, phone cameras and GoPros came out in a hurry, and we'd shoot the breathtaking views and even some of the battling shots of the elements. We capture these moments mentally as well as digitally. We need to do this in life too. I mean, right now, guys, stop and enjoy how far you've come. Savor even the small victories of your journey. Don't brag about them, but savor them. Especially to your wife, don't brag about your journey. Look around you. Keep noting the changes. Find someone in life to celebrate with you. That's Larry for me. Larry say we can both bellyache and brag to one another, and we're okay because he's my support. I'm his support when he's excited about something and letting her fly with excitement about it. I just join in and cheer for him. And so find someone to celebrate with. Be thankful to God. Soak it in. Cherish these times, whether they're simple or they're momentous. Give encouragement. This was very interesting. I felt myself big time on this climb. My kids, who are aggressively trained athletes, my older son runs those ultra marathons, like 120 kilometers and stuff like that. And my older daughter has done about 15 marathons and is a fitness and phys ed instructor at a high school, and wonderful shape. I was clearly the weakest link of the 5 of us, and I knew they were doing it for me. Together, we were trying to get this off my bucket list. Happy birthday, Dad. We've got a guide booked for early July of this year. So verbally, they both affirmed and showed concern. On the Roman wall, which, if you know anything about the climb, it's the last 1,000 feet and it's the steepest. It's 45 degrees up till you see the rounding there. And if you're looking at Mount Baker from this side, you're coming up from the right side, and that steep ascent on the side of Mount Baker towards the top. Is called the Roman Wall. And I was reminded by my youngest son, who's likely got the biggest heart of the works. He said, look, Dad, everybody is good if we can't make it and we have to turn around and go back. You don't have to do this if you don't want to. You don't do it for us, Dad. Don't do it for us. And I said, Mitch, I'm not doing it for you. I'm doing it for me. I want to get up there. Another one, my older son said, we haven't got this far to give up, Dad. Take the time you need. We're not in a hurry. You can do this. And my daughter said, Dad, you're doing really good. I know you can make it, Dad. I know you. And we've run marathons together, my older daughter and I. And she's an ever ready bunny. Come on, Dad, you can do it, Dad. Come on, Dad, you can do it. Through the thinner air. And you understand, the higher altitude you get, the air gets thinner. So when you take a breath, you don't get as much oxygen in. So the thinner air and the demanding 45-degree slope was gassing me. Their adrenaline, sorry, their encouragement was like an adrenaline to me. It just lifted me. And it didn't hurt that the last 500 feet to the top, my son took off he said, Dad, give me your day pack, another 15 pounds of stuff. He packed it as well. And I went up the last 500 feet packless. And their encouragement is incredible. And encouragement is great in your journey too. That's why we need to call one another and lift one another. I love what I see on the WhatsApp when guys are lifting, encouraging, and praying for one another. Be an encourager. Say something or do something that reassures everyone you meet. We're in this together. We got to give encouragement. It creates a significant bond as a band of brothers. Number 6 out of 7. I learned as I climbed Mount Baker that there's nothing short of needed perseverance. You've already grasped much of the incredible challenging conditions of our climb. It was not just like another hike. It was sheer will for me to make it. The blowing snow ripping at my face, the intense biting cold as we got to the top, it was minus 20. And the farther up we went, even though we were heating, we'd stop to rest and eat and whatever to keep the nourishment up, and we'd start to freeze. So we'd put on clothes and we'd climb a bit and peel off again, and because you try not to sweat too much, but sometimes the wind gusts pushed me right off stride, and the whiteout robbed me of a sense of direction. But these all paled beside the exhaustion and the thin air. The hardest part of the ascent, that Roman wall, I only took 40 steps at a time. Dig in, 40. I would count them until I got to 40. And then I would rest a minute or so. And my kids were good with this. Dad, you can make it type of deal. But perseverance, one step at a time. Dave, you'll get there. Mental toughness, focus, work. And then after that, even more work. And with Winston Churchill-like grit, I tried to just stay calm and keep going. Stay calm and keep going. Life can be equally demanding at times. Your recovery can be equally demanding at times. To overcome challenges, determination is mandatory. Never, never, never give up. Persevere, because it'll make all the difference in your recovery journey. And finally, walk with God in your journey. Walk with God. Take every step of your journey into your future, knowing that God is already there. He knows the future and all that you will face. When I started that day, I didn't know that we'd be traversing around crevices so gaping you could put 10 buses in them. I didn't realize it'd be jumping over crevices that you couldn't see the bottom of. I didn't realize that there'd be this whiteout and cold conditions and yada, yada, yada. I didn't know how hard the climb would be for me. But in my heart, I was walking every step with God. I always try to do that, but this was real to me. We prayed as we started the climb that day. 5 of us gathered around in a circle and prayed together. We prayed when we rejoiced standing on the top of Mount Baker. And I'll send you a few pictures in WhatsApp when we're done. We faced a new obstacle. Now I understand it. It's 60 to 80 kilometer winds at the top in a snowstorm. So we're standing, and it's about, the top of Baker is equivalent to about 12 football fields, big, flat, kind of big. You see it there. It's massive, big. And so when you're when you're climbing the last bit and getting to the top, you're about knee deep, sometimes a little deeper than knee deep in snow, especially in certain places where it blows in. You might be thigh deep in snow, sometimes you're ankle deep. But what happens with the wind blowing so hard with all the fresh snow, your tracks blow in really quick and you're a whiteout. Now, the guide's got all by compass, so he knows where we came up approximately. But basically what you do is you would retrace your steps down the Roman wall so that we would follow the same route back down. Well, we likely were 40 minutes in this snowstorm looking for our tracks. Now, we stayed roped together and we spread out and we went all over these 12 football fields at the top looking for, well, it's got to be over this way because the compass says. So we're looking and looking. And finally, we found evidence of tracks that let us know, okay, yeah, I remember this now. This is the route down. And we found the exit route, the tracks barely visible. And yeah, we got back to base camp. We prayed. I breathed many prayers along the way, to be honest, many more than my kids and I did together. And I've experienced again, Psalm 95, verse 4. In his hand are the depths of the earth, and the mountain peaks belong to him. He was there. He met me in every step of the way. And in ascending Mount Baker, as well as all of life, I've learned that God's got me covered. He's with me every step of the way. Matter of fact, my wife just shared last night on her Valentine's Day. She told me it's earlier, but she reminded me that her word for the year, she always looks for a word to focus on this year. And her word for this year, God gave her is, I am here. I am here. No matter what you're facing, I am here with you. I am here. And he's got you covered. He knows your every move in your journey, your comings, your going. He's familiar with all you do, all you think, all the temptations you're going to face, all the struggles with your wife. He's with you every step of the way. Psalm 139, 1-6 talks about you can't go anywhere without God not being there, and he's with you. So no matter what you face, gentlemen, why not try to trust your unknown future and your recovery to an all-knowing God? I have and will continue on and off Mount Baker. Enjoy your freedom to journey. Gentlemen, what I learned in climbing Mount Baker is stay roped together. Be prepared. Face danger bravely. Be in the moment and be aware. Give encouragement to one another. Persevere and walk every step with God. God bless you.